What's up everyone, John Rettinger from Techno Buffalo here with a full review for you of Microsoft's latest, the Xbox One. There have been years of hype and rumors and the console is now a reality and can be picked up by you in store, but should you buy it? Stick around, let's answer that question. Let me begin the video as I do with all of my reviews with a big fat disclaimer. I'm using this console since launch day. These reviews and videos are usually really difficult to do since the systems are constantly evolving. Think about how the Xbox 360 was when it launched almost 8 years ago and what the 360 of today is, both hardware and software look like. Totally different. So this won't be the definitive Xbox One review for the whole life of the console. We're actually going to update this review and every one of the new generation of systems each year on their launch anniversaries, so you don't have to keep talking about potential and what might be coming down the road. So our head of gaming, Joey Davidson, and our gaming editor, Eric Fredrickson, did a really thorough written review which gets much more granular than I'm going to today. They and I differed on some things, which I'll call out in the video. Link to that's going to be down below if you want to see everything they had to say, including galleries and images. So that said, let's review the Xbox One as it exists at launch. Let me get this one out of the way and touch briefly on its design. It's huge. It looks more like it'd be home next to a computer monitor than a television set. Microsoft wasn't going for industrial design awards here at all. It's function over form very clearly. They definitely didn't want to repeat a 360's red ring of death, so they allowed for a ton of extra airflow and a gargantuan-sized fan. One thing they didn't put room for in that mammoth body, though, is the power supply, which in all candor seems absurd. I understand the argument that you won't see after it's plugged in and having an external reduces heat, but it's still an incredible eyesore. I'd wager that we'd see an Xbox One Slim version very, very soon. So that aside, it's a fine looking console. I do like the glowing Xbox logo that serves as a touch sensitive button. Once you find a spot for it though, I guess it just looks fine sitting there. When Microsoft announced the One, the Kinect was touted as being the killer must-have feature of the console. In reality, again, its launch form, it's kind of a mixed bag. Ashley and I filmed a demo of the Kinect on launch day and noticed it had a really hard time recognizing her commands. Comments on the video claimed her cadence was off, or she didn't space out the requests far enough, or the room wasn't quiet enough. It's a lot of excuses from something that Microsoft claimed is just supposed to work with normal conversation. And it didn't just work. I'll put a success rate, even after calibration, at around 50 to 60%. The biggest culprit of the missed commands we found was background and ambient noise. In a quiet room, it was way better. But for a console that's supposed to be the center of a family room, you're gonna have a lot of trouble. If your family is anything like mine, they don't just sit there quietly, especially with a newborn at home. This is one huge reason we'll be taking a second look at the console in a year. I assume most of the issues I'm having are software-based and hopefully can be fixed. Voice commands aside though, it's crazy what the Kinect can do. Measure heart rate, muscle tension, and generally creep me out by listening to everything I have to say. The coolest use of the Kinect though was definitely Skype. It literally zooms in and out of people when they come into a conversation, and it's just really kind of neat. If you have two people come in, it'll zoom out so both are in frame. It just works really well, and it's kind of cool to see on a giant television set. Speaking of Skype though, if you want to snap a Skype call while playing a game, so you can see your friend tear up as you're beating them, let's say Madden, or sneak up behind them as you're stabbing in the back with a knife in Call of Duty, that's not there yet, which is one of the things I was really looking forward to, but Microsoft did say it's coming. So I know I'm probably in the minority, but for me the Kinect adds very little to the overall gaming experience. I don't have a good place to put it since my TV's mounted on a wall, and it still really weirds me out that it's always listening. Honestly, I'd probably leave it unplugged and just plug it in when I need to play a game. Most importantly for me though with the console is games. It's hard to evaluate what games are going to look like based on the launch lineup. But if a game like Rise is any indication of the console's graphic prowess, it's going to be gorgeous, at least initially. The extra power of the Xbox One versus the 360 is really visible in textures, background, and the faces of the characters. Not to mention, I shared pictures of crashed cars in Forza on Facebook that people thought were actually real. For games, the future is really, really bright. To play those games though, you'll of course need the new controller. I was a huge fan of the 360's controller and have gone on the record saying that's why I preferred 360 over the last generation of competition. The One's controller is definitely iterative, and I totally don't blame Microsoft at all. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. It's kind of like BMW with the 3 Series. Change it just enough to make it new, but don't alter what makes it great. Joey, however, disagreed with me here, but I really like the controller. The new trigger buttons feel really solid. I like the colored letters on black backgrounds now for the buttons, and the D-pad is improved, but still not perfect. I will say though, when I hold it, especially after a few hours of gameplay, the controller starts to slip through my hands, especially around the palms, but again, it could just be my sweaty mitts. I do like the battery compartment, it's now flush, but AA batteries? Come on Microsoft, don't make me buy another accessory to charge my controller. Having said that though, the battery life is pretty awesome on the controller, but you're going to have to guess when the AA's are going to die since you can't check their status anywhere in the system. The UI clearly took a page from the modern interface on Windows 8 and Windows Phone. And they're both based on live tiles, which is supposed to give you quick access and see information just very quickly at a glance. And I get how they work, and I see their places on desktop and mobile, but on a console, there really isn't information to show. They're just really large icons. Pitting tiles is neat, and snapping apps is surprisingly handy, but the UI to me felt cluttered and at times really confusing. I did like the NFL and fantasy football integration, and I assume more apps will come to the Surface. Get it? Microsoft clearly wants this to be more in a gaming machine though. After all, it's called the One because it's supposed to be the device for all your home needs. The problem though for me is I have other streaming devices for Netflix, Hulu, movies, and television. I will admit though, none of them have the TV integration the Xbox has, which is pretty cool and covered more in depth in the written portion, which again, linked down below. If I didn't already have all these other components, the Xbox One would be pretty perfect. After all, one device for all my gaming and video needs, done. The issue though, is that I do. Chances are you probably do too. Rarely am I gonna go to my console to take advantage of everything it can do at all. Maybe it's due to laziness or just force of habit, but I just don't do it. For me, the Xbox is used as a gaming machine, and that's not likely to change. In that regard though, it's definitely a huge success, but at $100 more in a competition and factoring in the current inaccuracies of Kinect, it's a questionable value, unless the lure of exclusives like Halo and Gears of War call your name. I would have loved to have seen a larger hard drive since the One does not use replaceable. Well, Microsoft did say external hard drive support is coming, but as a package, Xbox One is not about value. Chances are you already know if you're going to buy one. If you're one of the people who are on the fence, the value versus the competition comes down to Kinect. Will you use it? Are you confident it will improve? If the answers to both those are yes, then jump in with both feet. If no, then you might want to consider a less expensive alternative. Thank you guys for watching our full review of the Xbox One. As I mentioned at the beginning, we're going to be updating this review and the competition's reviews every year on their launch anniversary. It makes sense because the hardware and software are definitely going to change. Please give the video a thumbs up, it's definitely appreciate it. Leave your comments right down below. Check out technobuffalo.com for all of your technology and gaming needs. I'm John Rettinger. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.
What's up everyone, it's Ashley. Thanks so much for watching that most recent video. If you enjoyed it, please click on the word subscribe right underneath me to get tons of more tech videos from us here at Techno Buffalo. We have got unboxings, comparisons, reviews, recaps, and everything else you can think of here on the channel. Now, if you're in the mood for more technology, just click right over here to check out some of our most recent videos. See you next time, humans.